Karma Suzo Mi Zede She Yama Guru Hong Ha 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 Banga Wan Anga Da Banzara Ma Me Menza Benzara Bawa Ma Sama Ya Sado Aon Benzara Sado Sama Ya Manu Bala Ya Amen. Zarasado de no ba de da de do me bawa. Asado kayo me bawa. Subo kayo me bawa. Anarado me bawa. Sarva se de me barayan. Arma Sadamin Nezede Yawagarahom Aho Bangawan Asewa Tanga Tamanzarama Memanzam Benzaba Samaya Sado Aon Benzara Sado Samaya Manu Balaya Benzara Sado Dino Ba Dita Dido Me Bawa Asado Kayo Me Bawa Subo Kayo Me Bawa Anurado Me Bawa Sarva Siddhi Me Barayan Karma Sudha Me Zide Sheya Guru Hong Aho Bangawan Sewa Datanga Tamanzarama Me Menza Menza Baba Maha Samaya Sado. Now we drink tea. So someone didn't know my legends on the donkey, then be so much. Enjoy some watch wishing to the boy, ye gaze on the arching over. Inida nga zudrin da jitang Phowa da chachang tindi da shui simbari ina yang da ti ke ko yang jewa yuwa te karsina nga zo soul se ya jewa da soul Jatanga dila train da Katsang to Tia to Tindi Zerem Nana in Santa Tane Dachi Yango Kor that means Sari Tini Dachatan San Tan Sor Siate Yungu Yori Tini Tanda di Jekap Sabala Masoda Phowa Phowe Keta Kadunde Goa Tamashona. Kandis Chigoyadi, Chongbri, Tatata, Nyamdula, and Jeva Ujote, Karchadigo, Subina, then also source here, Chadigo. The source here, the Chetanga, so Reda Tambote Shunixata, specific sort of candidate Chigiore, Subina, and also soar on Dondita, Chetan. Kesi magic Tonson Mina, Tinita, Jig Ngo, Jig Sayando, Tuyando, Jig Ngo Street, Tigana, Yipai Koran, Sangan Koranya, Tene, Jig Ngo Stene, Jig Kalako So Medan, Tene, Kokala Satu Marwa. In a young Atoti, that and the Teza, the Tesia, the one in Namkan Warwa, Bena. That treaty, Teza, the treaty Kandiji Chungos and source Pay Yawochung, sort the Kandis Lavina, not so mere Barwa, mere Bartua knowledge, long Bekavla, that he Kopaike could Tessange Antela, par Tubuores. That Tambotia, Tenet Niji Shunasam Gudo, Karsena, Tambo sorti, Kadustangre, Saji, Roa. Anybody kosor ki jupcha kandis chigri se yaoda tiji shuna samkudos.
And so we have completed the instructions on Phowa, and the practice of Sur is actually also a related practice, and so according to the program, we speak about the Phowa, the song, which is the smoke offering, and the Sur, also smoke offering, and then the summoning of good fortune. And so now we have learned how to train in Phowa and then how to help somebody else who has died. And then the Sur practice is connected to this practice. So when someone has died, then there's this practice of making an offering to them. So if we offer them food and drink, and then such a deceased being cannot eat that because they don't have a physical body. And so what they are smell eaters, so gandharvas. And the smell is just similar to space. And so we talk about now how do we make a Sur, what is a Sur? So we are making a fire, and then we are pouring substances into that, and then the smoke that is produced then reaches the smell eater. And so first I thought I'm going to speak about when to practice such a Sur offering, and then also what it consists of.
Oda tuzu di da tande ki tuzu de la ngazo jetang da meje chong song na tene de chong be kap la chong ne song di da ngazo nima dunra dundu ship chirge ji da tinde je ke da hyama ship chirge de la pardo ki tsetsi na woji cha de yor da Yina di tang la da ko tene yo mari da nga hi dun ra je yung se gere nga hi ni ma je ni yung se gere nga hi pe da sa gen je karma je tni yung se gere da khanda da yina lungas kharni je ne yo re slavina phado khana phado se se te hyama hip shirga cha de yo res
So regarding the timing first, so when the person has died, it is said generally that the lifespan of and the bardo is 49 days, but it's not so certain. It's not the same for everyone. For someone, it might be just a week. It might be a day or two. It might be minutes or even just seconds. But it is said that the longest time that we spend in a bardo is 49 days.
Tienita, ngato sortan labditine, sortan wiki tutu tetine, ta shapo shivchi shirgu matsa barditine, sortan goguyores. Ta sort teyan, ta kanza, ta namjun ngato ta generally karchiguyores lavina, chik ngato ta manchiji, ta think of these days, I don't know, but yina yang ta ngato kala tuzom seyaji sagiyor ta, shoki irawa, shoki kala, ningun kala, gonda kala do. 오다 디기 추틀라 테네 나도다 소르지 땅고고다 네게 나라 땅에 substance 제리 쇼이 데니다 디 투투데 베나차 샤비나 니마십 시르 크랭나 데네 breakfast time lunch time dinner time 땅고고레스
So regarding the timing of such a sore offering, so it should be performed before the 49 days are over. And so generally speaking, most people have 3 meals a day. So we eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we are offering a sur corresponding to that. I will go into the substances later, but for the timing, it is done during those 49 days, and it is done 3 times a day, so together with a breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
다디 소르타야키 주차데 칸디지 고레 세다 가서 제당 잠바 손에다 잠바디 지 세게 담아도 오인송다 이나 칸다냐 발리 플로라와 텐데지 티나라 카르세나 다 제루야티 다 가르솜 손에다 가르솜지디 다쇼 말 호마인사레 당가좀테 테네 테레 체마가라 dance from 세야다 제탕마제스타 고 집는도로로타 하니치 보카리 티솜테 로고요레스 이네 디나네 다직데 레테네 톱톱 치치 코나 타나 코나 지데 고키네 지다 안도 만다와 아직 내가 너 텐데라 텐데 마티나 힙예베 톱치 대친다 대테다 치고 요리 신다 조 제효티나 디스 말 마스 로고 요사레스
Re nanga khare shipshi tuna khare logore de re
or
nanga
favorite what the cartoon favorite tell her the
5-color cotton
kasa
5 colors cotton
right
cloth.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So for the substances, the source substances, so we use Tampa, which is barley flour, and it is said that it is the most pure food. And so Tampa, and then inside that we add 3 white substances and 3 sweet substances. The 3 white substances are yogurt, butter, and milk. And the 3 sweet substances, sugar, honey, and molasses. And then we cut a 5-colored cotton cloth that is very thin to cover it. And also we put a little more, we actually put more butter in.
테러와티니 단다디 favorite be 힙예 cutting top 고그로와 be 힙예 고도도 체링보티니 말와 고티나 be 힙예 로티스 당가서 제 담가서도 mambo ship logo esa marinda this tene logo sares.
And so this cotton cloth needs to be cut very small, very fine, right? And we don't need to use a whole lot of substances.
Tini tiga na ita jitanga so ji pu lo tini imbina le la wore me tu sama chela tang sang tang so tang sa sia sang tang sa sia tini chelo la so yo da me tang sa chimbo ji fireplace da tu so ro ji da ji jina chi je la tini fireplace do te yo bina chelo la me tang te tini ji ti na da kasi lo na bi yo re so this lo na da te me ne yang ji chung tindi yang me tindi ja chenbo tindi chikale khabo yo na tindi nga chota na incense banana ro to zona lo na digre wa digre tindi da zo karsena ma to sor tong ya tela da general sor tong ya tindi yo re tega na ye ke specific da tanda a ji thong ro nya thi ki chi tela sor tong ya ke pecha yo re da pecha te chungbi na pecha zo lo res 다 계시대 마중위나 근데다 가서 또 제효한테 단계 공슈와 나이래다 지 제렌색 송아 어머니 배면 홍서 텐데지네 오다 당보대 데레드네 당보대 메타바 메타바네 다 가서 지 람얌 감세야지 다지 this longdo 텐데 롱얌도 요 롱도 디시 람다 메요 메코 람레 테네 얌제디 테네 롱 치테네 감데 체이스 지도 thế chỉ là về hiểu là thế nên ngã ta bây giờ yêu na bây giờ lo ta bây giờ mấy vị na thế nên Ramyam kham cái gì là thế nên ông mani bên mình không sẽ ta thế nên gì gì này sẽ cái sung ngã thong nên cái gì ở đây thế thế nên chỉ ta thành là thong rồi nghe đi ta bên là family thì thong rồi đấy ta chỉ có mà vào thong rồi nghe là nhưng mà chỉ là gia đình thong ta thong rồi vào ở đó thong rồi nghe cái gì 총원에 파도난 게 생겨 담지 팽효 삼바지 해양 칸디스 구글에서는 다 ben 사와 공도다 또 갈스는 다 사동공 pom바요래 되는데 즉 사와도 주어 당년 바효게 다 거라베 통롱에 참마 사와 가세고나 되네지 강나 강도 되네 사와 사야들이 라효 삼바 그냥 제렌세 천질라 어머니 배명 천질라네 되네 사와 사야들이 총쇼 대가나 얘기 이제 총바라 총바 도롱라고 있나 배데 야 충중들이 많이 봐 가서다 자겐도 되게 충중 제기도 되게 많이 봐 도로 관한 소티도 띵바나 이 도로 가서 고고 배데 가서 종종 되게 용쇼스 대가나 얘기다 이제 통양라고 의미나 통양한테는 장소나 이 대가 생각보다 차로 값이 감이 되게 값 같은 거로 되게 많이 봐 아직 통양라 가르고나 말뭐 좀다 가르고요나 그래서 참아야 되네지 그 장소 그 추나이 되네 되네지 그때다 가르 땅보나이 되네지 총조 선택 어머니 배면 호서데 되네 기기 진질람로 그래 기 진질람네 되네 바길라 아고 통로면서도 단다 공티와나 이래 되네 사야양 톰로고요래 통양양 톰로고요래 공양의 톰도 그래. 티톱을 때는 거기서 코랑가 파도 semjan다 단지 샘티 솔로라고 용배 까블라. 되네 양 샘티베 텔레 때네 되네 주 확자 샤르거래. 주 탱거래. 주 탱네. 저한테 손에 파도 그나라 되네. 저한테 태야 카보래 정도 주 탱배야. 배 카보레스. 이네 계시 템비나 파도 나게 니마제기 냠len 지바다. 가서 무슨 냠len 지바디 파도 나게 냠len 지바디 야요래. 손에 염생 칼세나 맞은들 가가 단계 휴가나 이런 것도 배 시비네 갑게 드바로 다 되니베 레로 요마라 concentration 지야 항상 깔래 가고 요러와 맞아 엄봉아 유응아 되니지리나 파도 그나게 되니 메리 고 리파티 파도 그 리파타다 맞아 그 리파티니 보데 벤데 잔존로 조디요레 라무도 파도 리파티 베 휴지 항상 인텔리전트 차디요레스 텐디 카세 고 드바뇽요 사르와 어 텐디 인디 텐디 공소게 주 지야 고급 용거데 소다 텐디 쌈지 텐디 지 제와당 닝지 꾸네 라네 와다 텐디제 다 베나 추다 계시 가서 소원로 지 동빈다 쇼티 이게 손하다 나상디 땅고 거와 나상디 기타 메탈 하고 요래 저바와다 되지 거나 포야 당 사야 당다 되게 톱송 상바와다 되지 되네 소르 땅고 요래스
So in Tibet, it might be a bit easier to make such a fireplace because we have these special fireplaces where we perform smoke offerings, the sang or sur smoke offerings. So if you have such a fireplace, then you can perform the smoke offering outside. And if you don't, then you can also, for example, use an incense burner and put a little bit of everything in the incense burner. And so there is a general way of practicing a smoke offering. There are specific ways. When you practice it specifically, you practice it for a certain deceased person, and there's also a specific text for that. So if you have that text, you recite that text, and if you do not have that text, then you can just recite the, for example, Chenrezig, Mani Padme Hum, the Mani mantra, and then make a fire. And then you recite Ram Yam Kam, which is fire, wind, water. So with Ram, first you have the fire, you already made the fire. And then Yam is wind, so you can wave a bit over that fire. And then Kam is the water, you can sprinkle some water onto the substances. Then you read your text if you have it. And again, if you don't have it, after Ram Yam Kam, you just continue with the Mani mantra. And also, even though you're practicing for a certain deceased person, maybe a certain family of a deceased, it's not just that person, but every day countless beings die and go into the bardo. So we should think that this is to benefit all the bardo beings and made this food become large like a mountain and may it become whatever these bardo beings require. And then recite some Mani mantra, and then the Mani mantra blesses those food substances. And then think that may the cloth become clouds of cloth. So not just a jacket or two, but clouds of cloth, so that they all receive something to wear. And may the drink become an ocean of drink, not just a cup or two of tea, but whatever they require, whether it is a sweet taste or sour taste, and however much they require, oceans of drink. When you recite the Mani mantra blesses the substances. And then as a result, the deceased will receive the food, the drink, and the clothing. And then when they receive that, the bardo beings, their mind becomes a bit relaxed at that time. And when the mind is relaxed, then Dharma, an imprint can be placed into their mind. Then they can remember, think of the bardo. So, generally speaking, it is not easy to practice the bardo and Dharma in the bardo. But if one is able to remember in the bardo, it is very powerful. Actually, it is more powerful to practice the Dharma in the bardo for one day than to practice an entire lifetime in this body. And that is because, as we mentioned before, in this body, while we are alive, we have these obscurations of the waking state, for example. Because of these obscurations, it's extremely difficult for us to focus because we are limited by those those five sense doors. And in a bardo, we do not have any of these limitations. And so therefore it is said that the awareness in the bardo is 100 times more bright than our current awareness. So a bardo being is extremely intelligent, extremely bright. They have less obscurations at that time. And that is why it is very beneficial for them to practice the Dharma at that time. So we bring this to mind when we practice a sur smoke offering, and we think of them with love and compassion, and then think that these deceased have received all of our food and drink and clothing.
Tindi ta jatan te keche mo shure ta jatan ta kesi rwa kesi jik tene nga so sor tong ya os tindi ja chung me bi na ya ta chamre jik circumstance rwa me barya me wan ro da ta jik cha chan ro tindi ma chang wa ta cham ji ben no chop ba dis khale khabor wa ben apartment ro tindi na ta jig na da to this lelo yo marwa chilo la me sa tindi me wan ro tindi yung go da tindi do yin bi na ya tanda je khala ro tindi pru na la lo ji shoge gong da ro ji te mambo go marwa pete nyu ji lo ne te tele ya de ne je omani be ma hong ji ta koran la to sho samba ro ji tindi chi go na ya bo yo re jim se khari sana phado ki simjen da tham ji da kharsina ko kesi bena sawanda oji 통구요 나 사토구요 말와 카스나 망고나 사마토 송레다 이나 카스나 코랑 그 투차요 말와 땡디고다 장이 기지 하이 기제 카세고다 아지 다데 동 개체효래 송레 개체효 뭐바들라 지 통종에티 클로서와 베 데니도 있나 남상 용도고 스페나 부고 게 되는지 파마 통선에 파망오나 되는 무슨 남성 톱으로요 서로 가스나 무슨 relationship 요로와 오다 그 되는도 인도 다 강다리야 즉 망오나 되는 무슨 즉 사야 고고요나리 동야 고고요나리 공야 고고나 그냥 토그 말에 스테입니다 되는지 있더니 아주 응어봐 오다 되는지 톱쇼 삼바 되는지 집다 톱쇼 스탄 가서 미파당 어머니 배몽도야 직보래 인체면인 거 라페강 방아서 띠네 띠고야 요 말와 가서 거 띠토고 말와 되는지 다들 개체효래 되는지 디나는 연구 학과도 기지 샤고십 실글라 직단 나사 상무지 총소나 다들 개체모래 되니다 단단 높죠 디스코 학고요 말와 이나다 보로 인비나다 거대 참매게다 직 타와 안에도 칸 거야 요 말이 맞아도 참하 고고요래다 딱딱딱 진로고요와 같이 지고고 참하 고고요래 접자 카르 고고요 카요 참하 고고요와 이나야다 지금 높죠 바디 디 사코요 말와 테메디 어다디 텐데데스네 제타 아타 튼젠존비나 타나 콘티바나 이레 테네 튼젠만존비나 제 코랑케 지 원도 테니 나한테네 제 칼라도 디스티스 카라나소 칼라 카디 소비나 칼라티스로 이나 조 뭐와치야리 다 대야테네 칼라티 냐데야 말와 코 칼라 쇼키 디스로 테네 온다 바타마소 닝공자마소 닝공디스로 테네 닝공테야 차사나 다바타마소 공다 디스로 테네 뉴 베다 원스 본도 이나 데거와 인지미니 봄지 첨보고 맥픽 땡도지 맞선도지 왔다 데코 코랑 칼라 인자마도지 요르와 지 트로마 칸도로 비나 코랑 칼라 인자다 코 토소 오마니 베호 슬라베나테 코톰도와 모테니테 코자마지 비게다 바도 심젠다 데 토소스 오마니 베호 스테니게 라비나테 코톰도 요레스
And so this part is very important. So, and that is so of course if you're able to practice the soar like this, you do it, but sometimes you can't get all the conditions together. So then in that case, what do you do? So for example, sometimes you might not be able to get a fire going, or you have some other difficulty, and we have this difficulty sometimes in the West. For example, if you live in an apartment, you can't just make a fire, or you can't go outside easily. You can't bring things outside easily. So in that case, when you can't really do a sur, a smoke offering, what you can do is you can have a little plate set aside for that person, the deceased, and then in the morning and evening, whenever you eat, basically, you add a little bit, just like a spoonful or so, on that plate, and recite a few mani mantras and think that may he receive this, and not just him, but all bardos and sentient beings. And it is said that this dedication is really significant because If we don't dedicate, if we don't say, may they receive it, if we don't dedicate it, then they can't actually get it. So they can only get what we dedicate to them. And also what is significant is that the way they receive it naturally that way is also through closeness. For example, a child is very close to their parents. When a parent has died and the child dedicates for them, then they will immediately get it because of the close relationship that they have. But only if they dedicate it. So if there's no dedication taking place, then no food, drink, or clothing can be received. So we should think, may they receive it, and then recite Samani mantra. And this is how we give it. So it's not like you're picking something up and we're passing it on to them with our hands, because they don't have a body, but we are dedicating to them. And so this is what we do during that 49 days after somebody has died. And in the Western countries, maybe people are not familiar with this practice. In Tibet, everyone really does it. One doesn't have to be a monk or a nun. Also the lay people, they do that. They know how to do it. They know what substances to use and so on. In the West, we don't really know it. But now that we know it, if you have the conditions to do a proper sour offering, you should do it. And if not, then you can do it this way. You just take a little bit of food, and whenever you eat, and put a little spoonful of that in on that little plate, and then you can clean that up in the evening. You don't need to use a lot, just a little bit as like a support for your visualization, thinking that this is his food, may he get it. Recite some mani mantras, and then he will get it. And not just that person, but think of all sentient beings dwelling in the bardo.
Okay. So, do you have some questions?
I live in an apartment building, so once again, it's difficult to have like a huge fire. I don't have a fireplace. And what I started using was those little charcoals that you light, and I just put like tiny little amount of it. But I never put the cloth, the 5 cotton cloth. I've never heard of this before. Because I live in an apartment building, would it be okay just to put like threads, 5-colored thread, to represent the cotton, or it has to be like a piece of cloth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can put the thread, but also if you do the cloth, you like really cutting fine, like a bit, So this kind of this one that ze damna sa ze se ya de ke chen bo de wa ze tang ze ji ni pa sam ji me cha zong ya ze te la huge be chen bo no te go go ze tan zombie na den do ro wa ko ze re ze tin de te be te nyu ni de yo res.
So this is it's a substance, and the power of the substance is very great. But whatever is a substance, we don't need a whole lot of it because it is a substance. So you don't need a lot of it. Whatever you can gather, it is okay.
And then, do you first put the foods, then the cloth, and then the butter, or you just mix it all together and all at once?
Oh yeah, all mix. Yes, all mix. Yeah, also you mix very well. So this is also no need to mix like every day. You can make like chunk, bake container, or maybe I said if somebody died for, so maybe you can up like 2-3 weeks or up, or maybe so something like that. Also with same thing, we can smoke offering, same use smoke offering, all the substance together. So sometimes occasionally we do like, okay, today's full moon, 15 day, then your collections, this smoke offering, that's okay. But sometimes, like for instance, the Tibet or some areas, they smoke every day. So they make like a whole bunch of one time and then like month. So either way.
So once again, I already did some, but never with the cloth, just with the food, because somebody died, and I tried to do it as possible. So what I ended up doing, for the 49 days, I made a batch and I put it in my freezer. And now I'm starting to like, is that okay to make a big batch of it and put it in the freezer, and then if somebody dies, take it out of the freezer? Or it's better to, let's say, like once a day or once a week, make a fresh batch?
I think, I don't know, Pado is no refrigerator.
No,
I'm joking.
in my refrigerator, I put it just so I have a supply of it, and then once somebody dies, I take it out of my freezer.
Right, I said yes, I just joking. So that's one, that's one. Whatever, put there. I said this make more again. You get put, freezer or refrigerator. So that's fine.
Should we do this for our daily smoke offering, like with this rainfall of benefit and happiness? Should we also be making sur and putting that with the incense or the cedar powder, or?
Really, that that thing is specific. That sort of get used in it. The human got this thing. That was the sank corner. Sank that is substance that is mandawa. Bowie Sarawat in the jail issues. Another sort of it is, then some this substance, this man use is.
So what we just discussed was specifically for the sur offering, and so that it's a little bit different than the sang smoke offering. So for the sang smoke offering, we do need a greater variety of substances. So now we were just specifically talking about the sur.
Well, then I forget the other one too. So the Tigana Yitayan, something of occasional Carsona song, the Kissy Mando, the Tomason, Tonson, my in a young, Corantic family, Tom maybe in a young, that and you want you and I producing him Momo Yorwa, Tindiki cheat to Latinate. Penatsepa, Jurando, Jundo, that kind of Nishando Kandajic, special date in the Latin, Kojic sorting it on a digioris, kissing us a Pamalindo, Shison Himasonatini, that Pento Yoris, sorting general sort on Yoris, Tedamazi Bigita, Jatangazo, Tanatita, to specific Carmigosana, the Pardusum Channel Megiorwa. Yine da padusim chente jiwo mari tani kongchuwa na ye mo tsala so tela wang de wa de ji dan de so la nga zo ji la le xie da de ji da kar se gore ji sumi ke de ne ji tsa de ne ni ji tang le de ba ni yo sa ro wa wo da de si le yang wa ji ya ni pen gi yo sa de is tin de ne ji da Marang Tengi Dotini, Yama, that's a cultural relation, Teen Dogavina, Chuhira Chia Yomarwa, Yomaritini, also not to Chuchi Choya, the Tutuno, Gilebica Latini, Matota, Sandaya, Sordaya, Suchi, this Jeko, Lumba Conatis, Manda Wando, that is Nupando, Koji. Lunga taken on a energy in the Shaxalagua, what that need of a yarn or not in the young good what in the the occasional Tindige a store by Atindi, your service.
And then we can also practice the sur occasionally. So not on a specific occasion where somebody has died necessarily, but as you mentioned, there are many bardo sentient beings, and we can practice a sur, make a sur offering on a special day, for example, such as the 15th day of the month or the 25th or any other special day. It's very beneficial to make a general sur offering at a time. Then also we can specifically bring to mind certain bardo beings, and not only bardo beings, there's also those smell eaters that we mentioned, There's spirits and gods and spirits and nagas and like local spirits and so on. There's all these beings without a body that are smell eaters, and it's very beneficial to make dedications for them. For example, what I also remember myself, during the Cultural Revolution in Tibet, we couldn't really practice the Dharma much. But then later there came a time where we could start to do some Dharma practice again. So then we did some smoke and sour offerings. The people did these offerings. And I really felt that the energy in that area really changed. It really improved. And so that is the benefit of doing this occasional sour offering.
Ate sorchi, ta nga zo ti hyula san ro ji shuwi na da san se ya de getan san se ya de la da choba yang re tene san zi du yang ji zang ma so ya tendin de wo ji cha de yor wa tende san tende da san ke ko ji substance de la da mambo bo yu sa re king tanda nga zo rin chen ton zo ki ti nan lo king da ji kin ji ran so king re tende ti nan la Hen kare yore, hen tiki kare pengi yore, kare le chigi yore se ala so bada di nana jikchina ditendo doa ina nga zoda peche tu suyo se mare ina yang te res.
So that's the sour, and then the sang that's the smoke offering that we usually do. And the smoke offering, the sang, is an offering, and it also is a purification. It is to cleanse. And we need a lot of different kinds of substances for the sang. And when the text, it mentions various substances like different kinds of wood and so on. So you can read for yourself what kinds of substances one needs and what is their benefit and so on. So right now we don't have the time to go into each of those substances.
Ina yang ta tanda sor mandawa. 다 상세베 갑라다 행케 내만 보고 요레스 다 행조 체효케 행케 내텔라 가서 들로노 다 하싱스 딜학 행 라고 요레 되네 다 슈파 활로 바데다 조 가르스나텔라 테인사다 가서 다 아메리케텔라고도 오버그린 와 카드이나 그린 디샤야 고지 베 세징보로지 다테마도베 계지 행망보지 그 로마지 올론도 요리 군가라양 요마리양 코체 이까지 마토 용금면도와 인다 슈퍼세야라고 단다디 활스야지 요다 활스야 인지기를 가르하고 문도 테네 어떠서 테네 디스지 during 보데기 요사레스 다 조체효 힌트도 고고레스
알레스나 카레렌데 각자 가르치는 진도는 하다.
fală zidite yoro tana te yungdo tana nga tsota pemas use chigido fală tele da pula kaza kayori tina na tanda lapchi ke incense chigido lapchi ne ma khiyungdo tina ta ma chi fală rindo fală zidita ko bette ina consciente so pemas wi ke ta kharse gore manda bajido quality te khandi yungure lamna but the high attitude 통구도 제가 맞이 비케다 가서 대 통사들 탭 통구도 탭들이 가서는 니만 마포야 배다 코페트 cold 가디나 cold이나야 그 통토부 요래라 제가 너희 고서 놀러고 요 말와 그 차화 가지am나 그 강리로 요 말와 활스다 뒤에 가서 엔진하나 가르죠 이런 거 활다 여러 배치 활이 요사리 그러는 게 벌써 상라 다 가오나라고 말와 이나 le fall le de ta yana inchigi la tereka la himchulo fall la himchulo
아쉽줄로 진짜는 I don't know. That's this word which I don't know that kind of word. Maybe you can figure it out later, but I don't know that word. But so for the song smoke offering, you need different kinds of wood. And so one is called the kind of divine wood, or it's not lashing. I don't know what exactly it is, but it says lashing is like divine wood or God wood. And the other one is juniper. And then there's one called falu, which I cannot find it in the dictionary, so I don't know which one it is. But it is a kind of a wood that has like a quality of longevity, so it does not go wither in the winter time. So for example, in a lapchi incense, you have this falu wood. You probably have it here too. It's a common kind of wood. It grows in high altitudes and it doesn't require any sun, so it grows in a shade. And also it's not harmed by ice or freezing. I don't know, follow which one that is.
So here they say the med tree, MED tree.
Med tree. Oh. Mm-hmm.
You know, med tree.
Medicinal tree.
Med tree, small yellow flower. They have some explanations, but that's okay. that thing you tene that so chibi ke chetan sana na ta hin kasi lo na lu ya yoris. Hin te jo tene he ke na pozen member. Hin ta ta nga to sejin do we tene ta hin ke te ta nga to ta pa se ya yor ta jin shi sa ta te de halo don tene ta hyukala reg da yoro khanda yang tene hin ke ta hin게 두 hin만이 봐 이게 태유죠 어다 단다 뜻으로 거리 판트리라다 망보도 저 정말 우리 아야사리 단다디 단당가서 데려와 크리스마스 트리인다고 그 판으로와 대나이양 그 판, 남면도 판 디프렌트 판 드네 어다 저 정말 드네 hin게다 간다 hin게다 직 tini chahin la soba tini logo yosari tini hengni kanzom tini logo yores tega na yeke da di standardi sandrop mena tini lo na tigi yosari da mena sidu jitang mena labore da mena jidu sambo to sia sandrop sia da sandrop sia da teri doa teri da ngato Selaudo in China lela sari karsa small cardamom, big cardamom, nutmeg, clove, saffron. What that is all logo you sari. Tine tegana ye kichi rinchen anga song rinchen anga jita. Achi Rinpoche tindi ma portando or tindindo. Tine tegana ye can drag this logo donda menda. 다 계시 때문에 나한테는 디나는 저 잡아도록 하나 되는 거와 어떻게 강 좀좀 맞도 비켜와다 되디 리밋 더지 되어 말이다 초베레레 진유자들이다 장가직 배 네 자타동난 좀나 야보러와 양 삼년 가서디 갈세나 직다 쇼판도 오지 마도 미비나 되기요래 강다니야다 강 좀좀 제야 그 테니지레스
So for the smoke offering, the song, you need different kind of trees, which are like medicinal trees, not poisonous trees, and it could be really any kind of tree. And for example, is palu, and I don't know pangma. I don't know what that is either. Is it pine tree? Perhaps. And there's different kinds of pine tree, and then there's a juniper, and then there's also different kinds of juniper. For pine tree, for example, we have like a Christmas tree, and then there's different kinds of those too. And then there is I guess tea plants, and then there are different spices. Is it like big cardamom, small cardamom, nutmeg, and so on, right? And then there are 5 precious gems, and then there is different grains. So basically, you have to put together whatever you can get a hold of, even if it's not everything. For example, if you don't have all the grains, you can use samba, for example, instead. So there is no real limit or minimum. If of course, if you get 1,000 different substances together, that's great. But if you only have juniper, it's also fine. So you try to just bring together as much as you can.
어떻게 나이다 당기지 또 어디 테솔로 고기거리스 당기 공큐와 소나나 가솜세야 타나 코나세야 어다 테솔로 고기 사레스.
And so then, as before, during the sur, we also add the 3 white substances, 3 sweet substances, and the 5 colored cloth.
Okay.
And those 3 substances, the three, why are they so special? The white substances and the sweet substances.
다지탄티 집 카르세고레다 인다 등장하고 있는다 메니 그 베메시위게 다 사만 mambo 쉬우지 요르다 이네야다 지딱 뭐마로 지나 지다 사메키 지 타만로 지다 사마들 미테 메타 메완로 지 티니다 조 커스는 가서 대참마 related 와 근데 나도 물레 간디지 고유와 틀라야 고 틴데도 오지 기토라 고지 클라이나레 루이나레 틴디케고 그 고유와 사라와 티니다 제게다 그 무기 사메케 나네 지 사마 탕만로 양 사마 탕보 티케 나네 그다 지 세키 주단 된바 인바 그가 나 이게 양세 태양진 세바디스 용대와 근데 지지나 고샤로다 두이나 지지나 고주대 유세기로와 이미네 양고다 딘데 양고 샤당 딘데 양 마인바 딘리제 고다 지 느파요와 주요와 딱고지 가르사고 세키지 당마색 말에 딘데 오지 게 총구요사로와
So nowadays we have a great variety of foods, but so it's all relative, of course. But so there are certain kinds of food that are indispensable for people. So that's food that human beings and also perhaps gods require. And then among these kinds of food that are indispensable, we take the pure food, and of that pure food we take those that are endowed with nourishment, and also they are not related to any kind of violence. For example, if we use meat could have good nourishment, but also it's related to violence. So these white and sweet substances are not related to violence, but they do still possess power and purity and nourishment.
Okay, so we can stop here. So then, we evening. So we can talking about the song and 당가서 상당도 상대 라틴에 상당시 유 칸디스 상당의 평용 칸디스 요와데다 상당의 요르와 이나다 상당하게 유 당시 유 카리카리 인반로 어다 상대 라틴데 다지 지남로 칸디치고를 다지 슈기스 온바라와.
Later we talk about more about the song smoke offering, about the object, the recipient of our offering, and then the benefits and how we bless the offerings.
Page 17 of the prayer book. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind, root and lineage lamas, divine assembly of yidams and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, yogins, yoginis, and dakinis dwelling in the 10 directions, please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana and the innate root of virtue not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Shravaka or Pratyekya Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading Maras, and the hordes of demons experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by a wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of mind as such, and the pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ina. Thank you, Rocco.
Mm.